All right, welcome everybody. Bitcoin continues to see some decent volatility, so I want to take a look at Bitcoin charts on a few different time frames, do some freestyle chart structure analysis, as well as checking some of my favorite indicators and that sort of thing. I'll start off by taking a look at the weekly chart here, which in my opinion, guys, is looking pretty damn good for now. Obviously, everything can change very quickly in this wild market, but so far I do like what I'm seeing here in the weekly chart structure. And that's basically going to these blue boxes that I have mapped out from, well, this would be the third market cycle I have this mapped out here. And basically looking at where our bull markets kind of flipped into bear markets, that very very serious support level at the, I guess, beginning of the bear market, if you want to call it that, phase one of the bear market. That's been very important levels in previous market cycles. I mean, you can see that obviously whenever we get above that blue box, that's kind of the green light that we may be flipping into a bit of a bull market. Obviously, we did just this last market cycle, this last bear market, we did have this little fake out where we did drop below that blue box after we got back above it. But this was during the whole COVID shutdown. So, I mean, that is definitely a black swan event there. Obviously, the chart could have done the same thing. Maybe it was just respecting Fibonacci levels or something like that. I mean, that's basically coming down, testing that 786, 886 Fibonacci pocket that I always talk about in these streams. But all in all, you guys, basically what we're looking for is, I mean, just looking at a macro time frame here, what you would expect to happen as far as chart analysis and just basic technical analysis goes is you love to see strong levels of support flipping into resistance, strong levels of resistance flipping into support. And the thing is, whenever we've had this in the past, we don't really end up getting much of a rejection after we get to that level. We kind of always end up reclaiming it and then just testing that box as support. You can see that that's exactly what we did in this market cycle back here. And as well, like I said, I think that if it weren't for COVID, I think we would have held this level last bear market or started the bull market as well. But you know what? It is what it is. I'm counting this as a fake out, but obviously, who knows, right? But more importantly, whenever we do end up breaking this box, you can see that we end up testing these 618 Fibonacci levels. Here we got it. We had a 40% correction here. I know this doesn't look like much. This is logarithmic chart, but this right here is a 40% correction to the downside after testing that 618. That's the resistance fib. That's pulled from the bull market high down to bear market bottom. Very obviously just a very important level in the market. And that's where we saw a big correction there. Last market cycle, same thing. Fibonacci pulled from our 20K top down to our 3K bottom. We got above that blue support box. It never did. I mean, we did treat it as resistance very briefly. Well, I mean, that was over a month of trading, but we never got a harsh rejection there. We just ended up testing against it basically and then blasted right through. After that happened, we ended up testing that 618 fib, seeing a very harsh correction. But what's important to just to pay attention to here, you guys, is look what happens when we do break that 618. When we actually get candle body closes above that level, absolutely parabolic. What happened last market cycle? Same thing. We get our close above that 618, absolutely parabolic. So that's definitely a level that I'm looking at for now. It's a strong level of interest for me. I really don't expect us to just smash right through this 618. I do expect some kind of a correction at this level. But obviously there's a lot of people watching that now because that has been such a strong signal in the past. So maybe we do just get some sort of a short squeeze and test into maybe my favorite Fibonacci pocket. You know, maybe those ETFs, a whole bunch of them do get approved at the same time and maybe we just smash through and it's just parabolic move to the upside from here. I really don't expect that, but obviously anything can happen. But as it stands right now, I love that we're breaking above this level. You can see back here, like I was saying, end of the bull market, start of the bear market, phase one of the bear market. You can see that this was a very serious level of support. And once we dropped it, it was just capitulation to the downside. And then when we got back towards these levels, when we got our bear market rally, we obviously ended up facing this level as a bit of resistance here, but not getting that bad of a shutdown and carrying on very nice market structure as far as higher highs, higher lows. We had this high, we set a higher high. This would be our higher low in that case. And then once again, even though it was just a failed break, we did set a higher high there, which would then move our higher low up to the lowest point between those two levels. And look at that. Just look how beautiful that level ended up holding. Yes, there's a few things that had me leaning bearish, but as I mentioned, support is support until it's broken. So as far as a midterm, even a long-term trend here, that's absolutely a beautiful level to find support. Not only that, but it was strong resistance back here. When we look at our downtrend, we had our low, lower low. This was our lowest, our lowest high on this downtrend, and we actually flipped that level into perfect support, getting a double bottom along that level. Just absolutely beautiful to see that. And then blasting us through this, old support, new resistance box. So what I'm kind of leaning to this. I mean, you guys know I'm more of a scalper than a swing trader, but to me, it seems like we're on our way towards the 618. Like I said, I'm not so sure we're going to smash through it first try, but I'm very interested to see what happens there. I really do think the market is on its way to that level. And obviously, in day trading and stuff like that, obviously it's going to be very volatile along the way. This is a weekly chart. I'm not expecting that to play out super quick. I mean, this will obviously, I'm expecting it to take months, honestly. The rest of the year, even into early next year, I could see it taking to get to these levels. But I really do want to see this blue box hold as new support, or reclaiming it as support rather, since we did have it as support back here. Now resistance, now hopefully support. So what I would ideally like to see here is that we do test that 618, see some kind of a rejection, come back. We'll have to see what kind of a black swan event is in the news at this point. I really do expect some crazy news articles to come out as we get to those levels. It's going to be basic market structure that causes the correction if we do get that. But of course, there will be some sort of a news article explaining why that happened. But from a charting perspective, I would absolutely love to see that. See us retest, like I said, that 618 level, and then come back and just see if this level will hold. Like I said, it never lasts cycle, but like I said, COVID may have been a factor there. Obviously, it was a factor. So if we start finding support along this blue box, either inside of it like I have mapped out, or even just on top of it, start watching for some divergences, either bullish divergences, hidden bullish divergences especially would, in my opinion, be a very nice signal that the trend may be ready to continue. So that's definitely a level of interest for me as far as the macro time frame goes on the weekly. Taking a look at the 4 hour, you guys can see, I mean, I've just been loving these auto charting tools lately, the MDX Trendmaster auto charting tools. It maps out monthly levels, daily levels, higher highs, higher lows, all that sort of thing. And just look at these beautiful signals here. We can just see such an obvious trend here when after we had this lower high, lower low, then we got our higher high and a higher low. And from there, it was just higher high again, higher low again, higher high. After we're getting those signals, like I was talking about hidden bullish divergences, I mean, we set a beautiful higher high signal here, for example, and then we see these hidden bullish divergences coming into play, both of them lining up like that. And look where that lines up, just basically right where this started popping off and caught this beautiful move to the upside there. Even going back a little bit further, look at this beautiful hidden bullish divergence right after that W, as well that little green dot there. I mean, that came into play right at these levels. Absolutely huge move from there, you guys. So ETF news or not, the technicals were there if you were looking at that. I honestly wasn't expecting that big of a move, but like I said, anything can happen right now. And now that we've broke that macro level, I will be favoring the bullish side again. Obviously, when it comes to scalping, yes, I will be open to the idea of scalping shorts, but I'm going to have a more bullish bias moving forward, and basically until we test that 618 or something just changes in the chart that really catches my eye. Gonna zoom right in here just because I don't know how long I will be in this position because I might get stopped out right away, but I took this long scalp. This is the degenerate 15-second chart, you guys. Basically, just like looking at market structure earlier, we had this high here. We set a higher high here. Our higher low for that trend would have been right at this level. So when we got that retest, that's where I went long, and I had my stop loss just below the previous little structure here. So whenever I'm trading, basically the shorter time frame I'm trading, the higher the leverage I'm trading, just because the stop losses are obviously very tight when I'm getting into these degen levels. Yes, it's absolutely risky. I'm not looking for home run trades here. If I catch it, that's absolutely fantastic. But I was quick to start taking profits basically when we got near the top of this range, specifically looking at Fibonacci's once again. And like I said, guys, I love that 786, 886 Fibonacci pocket. So as we tested the 786, I actually closed 60% of my position. That's this green dotted line here. And I've updated the rest of my stop loss to this red dotted line. I should actually probably drop it just a couple bucks here just to hopefully stay in. But yeah, basically, like I said, I closed 60% of my position because when I'm trading a 15-second chart, I'm definitely not looking for the type of move that you're going to see on like a 4-hour swing trade type of thing. I'm not treating it like it's going to be a home run. I want to start reducing my risk and taking profits very quickly. I can't remember where I heard this, you guys, but I know I read it somewhere that someone had said that whatever chart or whatever time frame chart they're trading, they like to start taking profits within about 7 candles. I don't know if there's much validity to that. It's just something that kind of stuck with me. It's just good to have in the back of your mind as a reminder that, hey, the smaller time frame that I'm on, the sooner I should be starting to close my position. Even if it's a very minimal profit or even a small loss, sometimes it doesn't hurt that if you're not getting the move that you were expecting, maybe it's time to just downsize your risk a little bit. So that's kind of just something that's stuck with me a little bit. Again, do your own research on that. That's just totally something random that someone said and stuck with me. So like I said, I was very quick to start taking profits. It was a lot longer than 7 candles, obviously. But again, just getting closer to the top of that range that I was playing, I was willing to start taking some profits there and updating my stop loss. So I have no risk at this point, right? But yeah, let's take a look. Like I said, again, loving these higher highs, higher lows. These trending indicators can be so powerful, and I've really been starting to throw those into my scalping strategies, as well as you guys know that I love looking for those reversal warnings, those W's, and which way they're trending. Basically, right now, one reason why I think I'll get stopped out right away, and this is one of my strategies I'm always talking about, is we have this warning here, you guys, that, you know, we're setting lower lows as well as lower highs with these reversal warnings. So just kind of pointing out to me that, hey, the trend may be to the downside now for a little bit as well. We got some bearish crosses here. I'm not willing to take a short at this time just because like I said, guys, I am leaning a little bit more bullish right now, so I'm more interested in holding a long position open. But just a little bit of a warning there, so that's kind of another reason why I'm willing to be stopped out on the rest of my position, lock in the rest of my gains and that sort of thing. It wasn't a huge trade or anything, but obviously better safe than sorry, so we'll see what happens there. How is everyone feeling on the market? Is anyone in any positions or anything? Want me to look at any time frames specifically? Obviously, you guys know I love these degen time frames, especially on the streams. It just keeps things a little more active, a little more involved, and it just makes it easier too when I'm noticing these signals on these indicators and stuff like that. Obviously, it plays out a lot faster on these degen time frames, so it's a little more fun for these streams. But I can definitely take a look at other time frames if you want. We've already gone over the weekly and the 4-hour here. Let's take a look at the daily also. That definitely is. That is a big move to the upside here. So you can see that this was even a bit of a fake out. Well, it says here that we set a lower low, but it was actually a perfect double bottom. I mean, it doesn't get any closer than that. So I would consider this invalid right now because we've obviously broke a new higher high as well. I'm curious to see when the new higher low comes into play here. Because those signals, they do actually come a little bit later. Like, you're not going to get this signal right when the candle closes. Well, you'll get the W, not the higher high. They often they always come a little bit later when the indicator has decided that that's the new pivotal point, or just the new break in structure. And just after that, it's so often that you end up testing those levels again, even on such short time frames. You just so often get very close to those levels, or even just some Fibonacci levels that are close. For example, let's say, we get this higher high. Let's say this just looks like a quick eyeball from here. You can see we kind of get to that 786 after setting this higher high here. So we come, even though we set this higher low way back here, we usually come back very close to those levels. And quite often you can get such a nice tight stop loss when trading these indicators like that. What do we got going on here? Obviously, yeah, we dropped this higher low. We even, take it for what it is. Like I said, guys, this is a 15 second. It's not for everybody. We did have a couple closes below this lower low here. So again, just another little bit of bearish confluence there that leads me to believe that I might get stopped out on the rest of my position here soon. But like I said, that's totally fine. That's why we take profits along the way and update our stop losses. So worst case that can happen at this point is I can just take a little bit more profits. I would be interested to see what happens if we do come back down and start testing near some of these other EMA trends. If that does happen, I would be interested to see at what point these W's start to change directions, because like I said, they're still trending to the downside. If all of a sudden we see that, hey, we set a W here and we get a higher W, that's where I would start to look for a higher low as well and see that the W's are trending the same direction, and potentially even lining up with some Fibonacci's. Let's say we get a higher low reversal warning that sits right around that 786, 886 Fibonacci pocket that I love so much. That is often a beautiful buy signal for me, and then it's a nice tight stop as well, right? If you're playing the breakout and your invalidation level is back down below support, that's such a loose stop loss. Whereas if you can get that pullback to some of those deeper Fibonacci levels, that's where you can have a nice tight stop loss. You can crank up the leverage a little bit higher, because obviously the further away your stop loss is, obviously the lower amount of leverage you want to use in that sort of thing, guys, right? Because we got to think about our risk management when we're playing, especially these lower degen time frames like this. Definitely want to have risk management on your side. And obviously I'm not trading with anything crazy when I am playing these 15-second charts like this. But, oh yeah, here we go. So the rest of my position, I can double check, but yeah, it's been stopped out in a profit on the rest there. And, maybe we do just bounce from here. That's totally fine, but I think we're kind of in no man's land. I wouldn't be too surprised to see us come back down towards these levels here. And this is where I want to start to watch out for. Like I said, I'm not really interested in taking a short scalp right now, but what I would love to see is start seeing, like I said, those reversal warnings start trending to the upside, and as well some of these higher lows. You can see quite often the higher lows line up with those reversal warnings. We see that quite often. But yeah, if we can start seeing those higher lows, higher highs start to form, W's trending in the same direction, respecting some nice Fibonacci levels, that's where I'll be interested in getting into a long position again. I may be a degen, but I still have my guidelines. Anyone else in any positions or anything right now? Whether it's a scalp or a swing? Or any altcoins of interest? Oh, I see Max is in here, and I know he was actually talking about Prop C earlier on Twitter. And that's actually one that I am also interested in. Let me just pull up that chart. This is one of the few altcoins I'm actually collecting right now. Generally speaking, I don't know. I know I'm gonna miss the bottom on altcoins, you guys. I take more of a, I guess I'm gonna consider it a safer approach, where I'm okay missing a large chunk of the move on a lot of altcoins. And basically, once Bitcoin breaks its all-time highs and we see altcoins versus Bitcoin trading pairs starting to break out and that sort of thing, that's where I'll be more interested in playing altcoins a little more aggressively. As it stands right now, I'm really only interested in the micro caps because, I mean, honestly, it takes such a smaller amount of money to move these things that I'm just more open to the idea of starting to DCA into them, basically. Whereas with the bigger cap altcoins, I'm more so waiting for that actual bull market breakout, total euphoria in the market. Everyone gets stupid with their gains and starts throwing it all over the place. That's when I want to be more involved with altcoins. But this is one that caught my interest. I know MDX, like I said, was talking about it. I ended up buying some last week at just over $1.18. Basically the bottom here. Let me just make a dashed line here. So last week I bought in around here. I loaded up a little more. I was buying some in these levels back here as well. But just recently I loaded up again at about $1.18. And I mean, yesterday we were actually going pretty nuts. But what are we up right now? Up about 53% in about a week. So beautiful gains there. I have high hopes for this project. I mean, I'm not much of a fundamental guy, so just hopefully they don't shit the bed. I see potential in the whole real estate market and getting crypto involved with it. So very cool. I'm very curious to see once their app is fully functioning and we can start picking and choosing what properties we invest in and stuff like that. I think it's going to be very neat. But for now, yeah, just taking it for what it is, just hoping to get some gains on a micro cap kind of a thing. You can see that we do have this demand zone showed up on the ALGO indicators as well. We've had a couple bottom signals here, which is nice to see, trending to the upside as well. Because I know quite often I talk about the trending direction with those reversal warnings, those W's. But honestly, that goes for any indicator. It can really, or any signal can really help you just point out the trend. And here would be a perfect example that we're setting higher lows with these bottoms. As well, on the upper side, these reversal warnings, you can see that we set a higher high with the reversal warnings, which is nice to see as well. So a couple things going for it there. Obviously things, I mean, take it for what it is. I'm sure this is largely gonna depend on what Bitcoin's doing, because generally speaking, if Bitcoin shits the bed, altcoins generally get hit even harder. If Bitcoin's doing well, generally speaking, altcoins do better. But we're gonna have to see. So that's one of interest for me right now. Long on Pepe. Let's bring up Pepe. That's a chart I haven't looked at in quite some time. We don't want spot. Mex. We can check out Mex. Oh man, it's actually been moving pretty nice, hey? Let's see, what kind of chart patterns do we have here? This is totally going to be freestyle because I have not looked at Pepe in a long time. But it looks like it has a nice wedge. Ooh, that was a beautiful breakout, you guys. Kind of wish I would have been watching this one a little bit closer now, because that's a beautiful, long, drawn-out, consolidated falling wedge. And look how beautiful that was. Just absolutely pinpoint accurate touches. And then we saw after at least 3 touch points, that's always my rule when looking at breakout trades. So we got our 3 perfect touch points, and then we flipped that line into from resistance into support absolutely perfectly. The ALGO indicators pointed out this demand zone, and I mean, it was just off to the races from there. That is awesome to see. What is that? That's a daily chart? What percentage is that? Even since breaking out of this wedge? That's, yeah, 90% to the upside. Nice, nice. Tiger, are you on like a scalp on Pepe? Have you been in this since the start of the breakout? What kind of time frame are you talking? Scalp, nice, nice. Well, that's a nice volatile one for you. See what the indicators are saying for us. Yeah, I was gonna say we have a nice structure. We do have that breakout there. We have W's trending to the upside. I would like to see the bottom W's also trend to the upside. Like I was talking about structure earlier, you can see that we obviously have our high here. We have now set a higher high here. So then we have a higher low, and the indicators pointed that out with our previous W here. So that's still nice to see on the 15-minute there. If we drop this higher low here, then I see reason that, you know, we could absolutely pull back to some of these demand zones a little bit lower. I guess now's the next question. How much of a scalp, how much of a degen scalp are we talking? 1 minute, 5 minute, 1 hour. When I'm looking at scalps, I'm usually 15-second, 1 minute, 5 minute. That's kind of my favorites. Our June open, August open. Man, we're kind of trading around a whole bunch of monthly opens. Kind of the same thing here. I'd be looking at the same level to hold as support if you're looking for the bullish side there. Nice to see that it's actually been tested a couple times as well. If I were looking for a new long scalp, since it does seem like we're trending to the upside here, I'd be interested in checking out what the Fibonacci's are saying from the bottom of this range up to here, up to where we've topped out so far. We're actually holding support on the 382 very nicely. And many of you are probably well aware that in a very strong trending market, quite often we see the 382 hold as support. And generally speaking, I find that if we lose that level and retest as resistance, that's where we start targeting the 786, 886 Fibonacci pocket. So like I said too, just being able to keep stop losses tighter, this level in that Fibonacci pocket is kind of where I would be looking to re-enter or to get myself into a scalp position period, because like I said, I am not in a Pepe long, but this would be the level of interest for me currently. Obviously that'll change if we do climb higher. That's just generally where I like to scalp from, is kind of that Fibonacci pocket quite often. So one of my favorite bits of confluence there. Again, if we could get, you know, we have these higher high W's here. If we could get a higher low W, either right off one of this EMA trend here, or right in this Fibonacci pocket off the 786 or something like that, that could be a beautiful long entry. I am in Canada. What exchange did I get prop chain on? I got it on BitGet. That's where I got it. I heard that they were starting to do KYC. I haven't got that yet. Like, I've been totally fine on there so far. Because I am mostly currently using, since my government really likes to control what we can and can't do. I'm usually on the MEX crypto exchange. That's where I'm generally doing my scalping. Also, BingX seems like a great exchange so far. I'm still new to it, but I really like that you can kind of trade stocks and Forex and all that kind of stuff on there as well. And BitGet, I have not had a problem yet, and that's where I've been getting prop chain from. I think they're on a couple other exchanges now, but they're exchanges I've never heard of or looked at before, so I'm tempted to take a little scalp short right here just as we have this W right off this EMA. It would be a very tight stop loss, but I just don't want to. Like I said, I'm not feeling the shorts right now, even though it looks good. Or even to ladder into one, a little lower leverage, but to take a swing here and here, stop loss somewhere up here, something like that, would just be for a very tight stop loss scalp kind of a setup. Back on Bitcoin here, by the way, obviously, but what EMAs do we have here? Not even seeing them come up on that time frame. Weird. Well, the 1 minute, we do have W's trending to the upside. But it looks like we already dropped this one here. I mean, invalidation would kind of be this level down here, in my opinion. That would also, basically, if I was looking to scalp along on Bitcoin right now, I'd have my stop loss just a little bit below this line. Personally not doing it yet myself. But if I did, my stop would be very tight. What do we got here for a fib level? Getting close to that 786. So far that call would have been pinpoint perfect, but we'll see if it actually holds. That's one of my favorite things, guys, when looking for entries is finding those reversal warnings right along some of these trend EMAs. You can see I have a whole bunch of them. I have loaded up that indicator 4 separate times just so I can load up several different trends. Basically, I have everything. Oh, that's why the one wasn't appearing. The 4 hour and the daily would have been far away. But basically, when I'm scalping, I am looking at all the basically the EMA moving averages from I believe when I'm trading on the 15-second or the 1 minute charts, I have all the EMA trends from 1 minute all the way up to an hour basically. So even though I'm looking at very degenerate time frames when I'm looking at these charts and scalping, I still have a kind of a general idea of what the market is doing in longer time frames, and that's where we can start watching for bullish crosses and stuff like that with the EMAs as well. Doesn't really look like I'm getting the setup I want this stream. That's unfortunate, but I don't know if I'll end up taking a position here. I'll probably take off in about 5 minutes here, so we'll see what we get. I still do think there's a little room to the downside just because, again, just following which way the W's are trending. We had this W, lower high, especially that they're coming in right along the EMAs there. I just don't want to bet against that right now. Yeah, that might have been the perfect entry. Again, doesn't really matter because I never did take it, but just nice to see. Those are the kinds of things I use these indicators for, you guys, is just, once again, just really helping spot out the trend. And I mean, obviously, we can look at the chart and say, oh, yeah, it's trending to the downside clearly, but it's really nice to see these signals that are also drawing your eye to it, just really slapping you in the face with which way the trend is actually going here. You know, I will swing at a little scalp long. Why not? On 30.9. Right around that 786 fib. And guys, I'm trading at 120x leverage, so I'm going to be very quick to close this. I'm at 10% right now, 11%. You know what? Screw it. Let's close it. Nice little scalp, 11%. I'll take it. That's one of those times where I really could have closed half my position and let it run, because you know what? Absolutely, that could have been a perfect bottom. But especially while I'm here with you guys kind of going over things, it's very easy to get sidetracked and forget about my position, especially when it's on a 15-second chart. All right, Tiger, thanks for coming in. Peace out, Holmes. You know what, guys? I'm probably actually going to wrap up there as well. You know, I got my one little scalp for the stream here, so I'll take it as a win. Look at that. Might have been the perfect call. But if you can take anything from this, just hopefully you guys find that interesting, how I use these indicators, how I use Fibonacci levels. Like I said, I mean, we had this structure of, you know, we broke this range high and set a higher high, taking that Fibonacci. So often we end up getting some kind of a reaction from this 786, 886 Fibonacci pocket. And that's a perfect example right there. And you know what? Like I said, shorter time frame. I wasn't super confident. I took the profits rather than the loss. That's how we do it. I'm tempted to take another one here because we're getting close to the 886, but I'm not going to get greedy here, guys. So that may be a perfect bottom again, but yeah, I'm not going to push my luck here. I'll take the win for the win there. And yeah. Anyways, friends, if you guys are watching this stream a little later on my YouTube channel and appreciated this video, please do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't. If you want access to these beautiful indicators as well as a couple no KYC crypto exchanges, I've got a couple of referral links down below for some special bonuses, discounts, and that sort of thing. With that, I'm out. Stay safe, my friends. Peace.